You've been lied to your entire life. The idea that successful people are born with special talents, that wealth comes from luck, that happiness is found through comfort, these are convenient myths we tell ourselves to justify mediocrity. Look around at your life right now. Every disappointment, every unfulfilled dream, every goal abandoned halfway, none of it is because you lack ability. It's not because the world is unfair. It's not because opportunity hasn't knocked. It's because you've been undisciplined, consistently choosing what feels good now over what brings greatness later. The brutal truth most motivational speakers won't tell you. Your comfortable choices are slowly killing your potential. The alarm rings, your hand reaches out, fumbling in the darkness. You hit snooze. Just 5 more minutes. 5 becomes 15. 15 becomes 45. Suddenly you're rushing, heart pounding, apologizing to yourself again for the same mistake you made yesterday and the day before. And the day before that, this is the silent thief that's stealing your life away one moment at a time. We call it many things. Procrastination, laziness, lack of motivation, but behind all these labels lies one fundamental truth, a lack of discipline. Tonight, we're going to confront this thief together, not with judgment or shame, but with understanding and a practical pathway forward, because the difference between where you are now and where you could be is not talent. It's not luck. It's not circumstances. It's discipline. Look around this room. Every person here has dreams they haven't pursued, goals abandoned halfway, promises to themselves broken so many times they've stopped making them. You are not alone in this struggle. The most successful person in this room battles with discipline every single day. The difference is they've learned how to win that battle more often than they lose it. Tonight you will learn their secrets. But first we need to understand what discipline truly is, because most people fundamentally misunderstand it. Discipline is not punishment. It's not deprivation. Discipline at its core is delayed gratification, the ability to forgo immediate pleasure for long-term gain. Every time you choose the couch over the gym, the TV over the book, the easy conversation over the difficult one, you're making a trade. You're trading your future for your present. You're saying, I prefer comfort now over success later. Is that truly what you want? Let me share something crucial. Nobody is born disciplined. Not a single person. Discipline is a skill, a muscle that grows stronger with use, and like any muscle, it can atrophy when neglected. Many of you are sitting here tonight with atrophied discipline muscles, wondering why you can't seem to follow through on your intentions. The good news, this can change, starting today, starting now. There's a voice inside your head. You know the one. It speaks to you at crucial moments throughout your day. You deserve a break. You can start tomorrow. One little indulgence won't hurt. You're too tired. You've had a rough day. This voice sounds reasonable. It sounds like your friend, but make no mistake, this voice is your enemy. This voice wants you comfortable, not successful. This voice cares about your present, not your future. What if you could silence this voice? What if you could replace it with a different voice? One that champions your highest good, your deepest desires, your most meaningful goals? You can. And over the next hour, I'm going to show you exactly how. Before we dive into the how, let's talk about the why. Why does discipline matter so much? Because without it, nothing else matters. Without discipline, talent is wasted. Intelligence is squandered. Opportunity is missed. The most brilliant business idea means nothing without the discipline to execute it. The most effective diet plan is worthless without the discipline to follow it. The most loving relationship deteriorates without the discipline to nurture it. Discipline is not one area of your life. It is your whole life. I want you to think about something that matters deeply to you. Something you say you want. Maybe it's financial freedom. Maybe it's vibrant health. Maybe it's a loving relationship. Maybe it's meaningful work. And ask yourself honestly, are your daily actions aligned with this desire? If not, you don't really want it. You just wish for it. Wishing changes nothing. Discipline changes everything. Here's a truth that may be hard to hear. Your life right now, every aspect of it, is the direct result of your past discipline or lack thereof. Your bank account, your body, your relationships, your career, all of it reflects thousands of tiny decisions made day after day, year after year. Decisions where you either exercise discipline or you didn't. If you don't like what you see when you look at your life, don't blame bad luck. Don't blame other people. Don't blame the economy or the government or your upbringing. Those factors may influence your journey, but they don't determine your destination. Your discipline does. Let me tell you about something that happened on a college campus. researchers conducted what became known as the marshmallow test. They put children in a room, one at a time, with a marshmallow on the table. The researcher told each child, you can eat this marshmallow now, or if you wait until I come back, you can have 2 marshmallows. Then the researcher left the room for 15 minutes. Some children ate the marshmallow immediately. Others tried to wait, but gave in after a few minutes. And some successfully waited the entire time. The researchers followed these children for decades. And what they found was remarkable. The children who were able to delay gratification, who had the discipline to wait for the second marshmallow, performed better in almost every area of life. They had higher SAT scores, better health, more successful careers, stronger relationships, all from a simple act of discipline. You might be thinking, that's interesting, but what does it have to do with me? I'm not a child anymore. My question to you is, is it still eating the first marshmallow? Are you still sacrificing what you want most for what you want now? Every time you hit the snooze button, instead of getting up to exercise, you're eating the first marshmallow. Every time you impulsively buy something you don't need, instead of saving for your future, you're eating the first marshmallow. Every time you choose the comfort of not having the difficult conversation instead of the growth that would come from it, you're eating the first marshmallow. And every time you do, you're trading your potential for temporary pleasure. Is it worth it? Let's talk about comfort. We're wired to seek comfort, to avoid pain. It's a survival mechanism programmed into our biology, but we no longer live in the wild. We no longer need to conserve energy to survive a harsh winter or outrun predators. Yet this programming remains. And in our world of unlimited food, endless entertainment, and instant gratification, this programming has become destructive. We're comfort-seeking missiles in an environment where comfort leads to decay, not survival. Discipline is the override switch on this faulty programming. It's your ability to say, I know this feels uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it anyway because it serves my higher purpose. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's the gateway to your growth. Think about this. Has any significant growth in your life ever come from staying comfortable? Has any meaningful achievement ever been accomplished without temporary discomfort? Of course not. The gym is uncomfortable. Saying no to temptation is uncomfortable. Waking up early is uncomfortable. Having honest conversations is uncomfortable. Learning new skills is uncomfortable. You must fall in love with this discomfort, not because you enjoy suffering, but because you recognize it as the feeling of growth, the feeling of becoming who you're capable of being. Pain now or pain later. Many people avoid the pain of discipline only to suffer the pain of regret. They avoid the pain of exercise only to suffer the pain of disease. They avoid the pain of difficult conversations only to suffer the pain of failed relationships. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. Which would you rather carry? Let me share a different perspective on discipline. Most people view discipline as restrictive, a set of rules that limit their freedom. I can't eat that. I have to do this. I'm not allowed to do that. This is backwards. True discipline is expansive, not restrictive. It creates freedom, not limitation. The disciplined person who saves money has the freedom to leave a job they hate. The disciplined person who exercises has the freedom to hike mountains in their 70s. The disciplined person who manages their time has the freedom to be present with loved ones. Discipline doesn't diminish your life, it enlarges it. This is why the truly disciplined don't view discipline as a burden. They view it as a gateway to their best life. But how do you get there? How do you bridge the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it? Between understanding the importance of discipline and embodying it? That's what we're going to explore next. Let's address the biggest misconception about discipline, that it requires constant willpower. This couldn't be further from the truth. Willpower is a finite resource. It depletes throughout the day with every decision you make. If you're relying on willpower alone to be disciplined, you're setting yourself up for failure. The truly disciplined don't rely on willpower. They rely on systems. A system is a predetermined set of behaviors that remove the need for decision making. When you don't have to decide, you don't have to use willpower. Think about brushing your teeth. Do you wake up each morning and have an internal debate about whether to brush your teeth? Of course not. It's automatic. You've systematized it. You don't need willpower because you don't make a decision. Now imagine if every positive behavior in your life felt this automatic. Exercise, healthy eating, saving money, deep work, all happening without the internal struggle, without the negotiation, without the willpower. This is how the disciplined live. and you can join them? Let me give you a concrete example. Many people try to exercise through sheer willpower. I should go to the gym today, they think. Then they proceed to have an internal debate that they often lose. But what if instead they laid out their workout clothes the night before? What if they scheduled their workout for the same time each day? What if they found a workout buddy who expected them to show up? What if they paid for a personal trainer who would call them if they didn't appear? Suddenly, exercise isn't a daily decision requiring willpower. It's a predetermined behavior guided by systems. This is the secret. Don't rely on motivation. Don't rely on feeling like doing the right thing. Create systems that make doing the right thing the default option. Now let's talk about another critical aspect of discipline, your environment. Your environment either makes discipline easier or harder, much harder. If you're trying to eat healthier, but your kitchen is stocked with junk food, you're fighting an uphill battle. If you're trying to save money, but your social circle spends extravagantly, you're swimming against the current. If you're trying to focus on deep work, but your phone is constantly buzzing with notifications, you're climbing a mountain with weights on your back. The disciplined don't just control their behaviors, they control their environments. They remove temptations before they become temptations. They surround themselves with people who reinforce their positive behaviors, not undermine them. They structure their physical spaces to make their goals easier to achieve, not harder. Think about your current environment. Is it an ally in your quest for discipline or an adversary? Be honest with yourself. If it's an adversary, what specific changes could you make today to turn it into an ally? Remember, the goal isn't to make discipline as hard as possible to prove how strong you are. The goal is to make discipline as easy as possible so you can sustain it for a lifetime. Another vital component of discipline is your identity, the story you tell yourself about who you are. Many people approach discipline from the outside in. They focus on changing behaviors without changing the underlying identity. This approach fails because when you believe you are one type of person, you will act in alignment with that belief. If deep down you see yourself as undisciplined, you will find a way to behave accordingly, no matter what tactics you try. The key is to work from the inside out. Change your identity first, and behavioral change becomes not just possible, but inevitable. How do you change your identity? By making tiny commitments and keeping them. Each time you do what you say you'll do, you build evidence for a new identity. You start to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who can be trusted, someone with integrity. This evidence accumulates until your self-image transforms. You no longer think I'm trying to be disciplined, you think I am disciplined. This is who I am. When that shift happens, discipline ceases to be a constant struggle and becomes a natural expression of your identity. What I asked you a question. What identity are you currently embodying? When you look in the mirror, do you see someone reliable, someone consistent, someone who honors their word, especially to themselves? Or do you see someone who makes promises they don't keep? Someone who starts strong but fizzles out? Someone whose words and actions don't align? Be brutally honest with yourself. The gap between who you say you are and who you actually are is the source of much of your dissatisfaction. Closing that gap is the work of discipline, and it begins with small promises kept consistently. Don't try to transform overnight. Don't make grandiose commitments you can't sustain. Start with one small promise to yourself. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water first thing each morning. Maybe it's making your bed. Maybe it's 5 minutes of meditation. Whatever it is, make the promise and keep it every day without exception, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Then once that promise becomes automatic, add another, and another, and another. Slowly, methodically, you're not just changing your behaviors, you're changing who you are. This is the path to sustainable discipline, not through Herculean feats of willpower, but through small, consistent actions that reshape your identity from the inside out. Now, let's address another crucial aspect of discipline, your relationship with failure. Because you will fail. You will have days where you break your promises to yourself. You will have moments of weakness. You will slide back into old patterns. This is not a sign that you can't be disciplined. It's a normal part of the process. The difference between the disciplined and the undisciplined is not that the disciplined never fail. It's that they respond to failure differently. The undisciplined use failure as evidence that they can't change. See, they say, I knew I couldn't do it. This is just who I am. The disciplined use failure as data. They ask, what caused this breakdown? What can I learn from it? How can I adjust my approach to prevent this in the future? Think about successful people you admire. They don't wake up wondering if they'll exercise today. They don't debate whether to work on their most important project. They've eliminated these decisions through routines and rituals. You can do the same. Decide once, execute daily, remove the internal negotiation that drains your willpower and undermines your discipline. What decisions could you eliminate through routines? What choices could you make in advance rather than in the moment? Let's address a painful truth. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day and underestimate what they can accomplish in a year. This miscalculation leads to frustration, disappointment, and abandoned goals. The disciplined take the opposite approach. They set modest daily targets they know they can hit consistently. They understand that discipline isn't about heroic efforts. It's about sustainable progress. This patient persistence is what separates those who talk about their goals from those who achieve them. It's the difference between the person who starts a dozen projects but finishes none and the person who completes what they begin. Are you setting yourself up for sustainable success or predictable failure? Are your daily targets realistic enough to be consistent but ambitious enough to create meaningful progress? Remember, discipline isn't a sprint. It's a marathon. And marathons are won through pacing, not bursts of unsustainable speed. Another crucial principle, discipline requires renewal. Even the most disciplined individuals cannot sustain continuous output without periods of restoration. The bow that is always taut loses its power. True discipline includes strategic recovery. It recognizes that rest isn't a reward for hard work. It's an essential component of sustainable performance. This recovery takes many forms. Adequate sleep periods of leisure, sabbaticals from intensive effort, time in nature, meaningful connection with loved ones, moments of spiritual reflection. The key is that these recovery periods are not haphazard or reactive. They're planned and protected with the same discipline as periods of productivity. Are you building renewal into your disciplined life, or are you driving yourself relentlessly toward burnout? The disciplined understand that they must manage their energy, not just their time. That sustainable discipline requires rhythms of exertion and recovery. Now let's talk about technology. In our digital age, technology can either enhance your discipline or destroy it. The difference lies in who controls whom. The undisciplined are controlled by their technology. They respond to every notification. They check email compulsively. They fall down social media rabbit holes. Their attention is fractured, their focus disrupted, their time devoured by digital distractions. The disciplined control their technology. They use it as a tool for their purposes, not as a source of endless distraction. They set boundaries around digital consumption. They leverage technology to enhance productivity while minimizing its potential to derail their focus. How is your relationship with technology? Is it serving your highest goals or diverting you from them? Are you using technology or is it using you? Let's also discuss a rarely acknowledged aspect of discipline. It requires saying no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones. Many people struggle with discipline not because they're pursuing the wrong things, but because they're pursuing too many right things. Excellence demands exclusion. You cannot be exceptional at everything, so you must decide what few things truly matter. The disciplined understand this. They focus their finite resources on their infinite potential in a specific direction. This selectivity isn't easy. It requires the courage to disappoint people, to leave certain opportunities unexplored, to accept that in choosing one path, you're necessarily abandoning countless others. But this deliberate limitation is the price of meaningful achievement, because a life without focus becomes a life without impact. What are you saying yes to that? You should be saying no to. What good opportunities might you need to decline so you can fully embrace the great ones? Let's address another fundamental truth. Discipline is largely invisible to others. The world sees your achievements, but rarely witnesses the thousands of disciplined moments that created them. No one sees you choosing the salad over the fries. No one watches you working while others sleep. No one observes you saving while others spend. No one notices you practicing while others play. These moments happen in private. They're between you and yourself. And because they're invisible, they receive little external recognition or reward. This is why external motivation is insufficient for lasting discipline, because the majority of disciplined actions will never be seen, acknowledged, or applauded by others. You must find motivation that doesn't depend on recognition. You must be willing to do the right thing even when no one will ever know. Are you prepared for this private victory? Are you willing to be disciplined even when there's no external validation? Let me share a powerful thought experiment. Imagine your future self 10 years from now. This future self has either benefited from your discipline or suffered from your lack of it. If you continue your current patterns of behavior, what will this future self experience? What health will they enjoy or endure? What financial situation will they inherit? What relationships will they participate in? What career will they occupy? Now imagine that this future self could send a message back to you today. What would they ask of you? What would they thank you for? What would they beg you to change? This isn't abstract philosophy. This is the reality of how discipline operates across time. Your future self is being created by your present choices. Your discipline today is a gift to the person you will become. Will your future self thank you or resent you for the choices you're making now? Let's also discuss a critical question. Why do you want discipline? Your answer matters profoundly, because discipline motivated by the wrong reasons rarely lasts. If you seek discipline solely to impress others, your resolve will falter when no one is watching. If you seek discipline only for external rewards like money or status, your commitment will waver when those rewards are delayed. If you seek discipline from a place of self-hatred, believing you need to fix yourself, your efforts will be undermined by the very self-criticism that initiated them. Sustainable discipline flows from self-acceptance, not self-rejection, from a desire to express your highest potential, not escape your perceived inadequacy, from alignment with your deepest values, not conformity to external expectations. Why do you want more discipline? What is your truest motivation? Is it coming from love or fear? From growth or shame? From internal values or external pressure? Be honest with yourself, because the source of your motivation will determine the sustainability of your discipline. Now let's bring this all together with some concrete steps you can take immediately to build greater discipline. Select one keystone habit to develop first. Don't try to change everything at once. Choose one habit that, if established, would create positive ripple effects across multiple areas of your life. Make this habit ridiculously small to start. Remember the principle of minimum viable commitment. Set the bar so low that success is virtually guaranteed. Link this new habit to an existing habit through habit stacking. Use the formula after an existing habit. I would have it. Create accountability for this habit. Tell someone whose opinion you value about your commitment. Better yet, find a partner who's working on the same habit. Track your consistency. Use a simple system to record each day you successfully perform your habit. Make this tracking visible as a reminder and motivator. Reward yourself for consistency. Establish meaningful rewards for hitting streak targets with your habit. Make discipline pleasurable. Design your environment to support this habit. Remove obstacles and temptations. Add cues and conveniences that make the habit easier. Prepare for obstacles. Identify what might derail your habit and create specific if-then plans for these situations. Connect this habit to your deeper values and purposes. Remind yourself regularly why this discipline matters to your most meaningful goals. Reflect weekly on your progress. What's working? What's not? How can you adjust your approach to strengthen your consistency? These steps aren't complicated, but they are powerful. They leverage the psychological principles that govern behavior change. They create the conditions where discipline can flourish rather than flounder. But here's what's most important. And start not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel more motivated. Now, the gap between knowing and doing is bridged only by action. All the knowledge in the world about discipline means nothing without implementation. So ask yourself, what one small disciplined action could you take immediately after we conclude tonight? What tiny step would signal to yourself that you're serious about transformation? Now commit to that action, not as a grand emotional pledge that fades by morning, but as a quiet, determined decision that you will honor regardless of how you feel. Because that's the essence of discipline. Doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. In the end, discipline isn't complicated. It's simply the consistent alignment of your actions with your intentions. It's doing what you said you would do when you said you would do it. This alignment creates something precious. Integrity, not just integrity in the moral sense, but integrity in the structural sense, wholeness, coherence, congruence between your words and your deeds. This integrity becomes the foundation for everything meaningful in life, for trust in relationships, for excellence in work, for confidence in your abilities, for peace in your spirit. Because when you trust yourself to do what you say, everything changes. Your self-image transforms, your possibilities expand, your impact deepens. This is the ultimate promise of discipline. Not just achievement, but alignment. Not just success, but integration. Not just accomplishment, but wholeness. The choice is yours. Will you continue to live divided, saying one thing and doing another? Or will you embrace the challenge of integration, bringing your actions into alignment with your highest intentions? Choose integration. Choose discipline. Choose to become someone you can trust. The alarm will ring tomorrow morning. Your hand will reach out in the darkness. In that moment, you will make a choice that reflects who you are and who you're becoming. Choose wisely. Your future self is watching.